This book, fight scene, extraordinary fight scenes. Oh my god, yes. Oh my god. Hello my lovelies, it's Fallon here with a book review on TRUTHWITCH by Susan DENNARD. Just marvel over the steampunkness of this book. She is super steampunky and I love it. What I have a problem with in this book, like a lot of books seems to be right now, is that we're gonna do a nice like gray cover and a blue book. A blue book conspiracy. Everyone wants blue books and I don't know why. I want a nice book that isn't blue. General impressions of this book was that it was really confusing to get into initially. Nothing was explained, and the comparison that I kind of found worked for this book was like watching the first Star Wars movie. The first time you watch it, you have no idea what's happening in Star Wars. Go back and watch Star Wars and just like don't remember any of the stuff that's explained later in the movies, and that's how getting into this book is like. Everything's just there and it's not explained why it's a thing. There's no explanation about anything. It's just kind of there. For the first 6 chapters, you don't really have any idea what's happening, who these characters are, and why you're supposed to like them at all. So that was my big complaint and big problem with this book, and my problem with getting into this book, is that I had no idea what was happening in the initial part of this book. And then after that, things start to make sense. You can draw your own conclusions and stuff like that, but it's still very confusing. Nothing really makes sense till the end of the book, and by that point this really tiny book is done and you're like, okay, well I finally understand this world, where's the next part of the story that I can actually use? I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars because it was really good once I understood what was happening, but to get to that point where you understand what's happening, kind of hard, so you gotta stick out this book. It's definitely like get through the beginning and then the ending is really good and then you're like it's not very big. So I would wait till you can probably buy like a omnibus of the series or something like that, because if they're all this thin, I don't want to pay what, $22 for a book that's this big. I don't think it's worth it. Honestly, I'd wait till the next book in the series, because then by the time you understand it, you're like, the story's over. That's basically my major complaint. But it was still a really good story, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. If you don't know a synopsis of TRUTHWITCH, it follows 2 thread sisters who are witches. Essentially, Safia, the character in this book, and Iseult, I'm not sure to pronounce her name, are the thread sisters. Safia is a truth witch, hence the title, which just means that she can discern truth from lies, but that doesn't necessarily mean for everything. So like her limitations are like if someone believes something to be true, her witchery is like, yeah, it's true because they believe it. Thread sister is a thread witch, and that means that she can see the ties that bind people together. It's like not her own ties, and she can't see other thread witches' ties. So that's kind of a cool dynamic in the book. Also, there's a lot of racism, and Iseult is like a nomancy, I believe it's called, and essentially they're like the gypsies of the society, and so they're very outcasts, and Safia is a doma, or like a noblewoman. So they come from very different walks of life. She's essentially being hunted because she's the last truth witch in existence, and every country wants her, and there's this war that is looking to restart after a 20-year truce, and she is basically at the center of this because everyone wants her on their side because no one really understands how her power works, and she definitely doesn't understand how her power works. The story was definitely a lot about growth and how she views herself and how she's changed. At the beginning of the story, she says that she's stuck in her own skin and she hates it. She hates the power she's been given. She hates everything about herself, essentially. And at the end of the story, she goes, I have the power to rewrite the world, essentially. And I feel like that was really positive and really good message for a lot of girls to get. It has that moment too. And then, of course, we have other narrators in the book who are minor characters or just like not like they're still important. It's just like they're not Safia or Iseult, the 2 main characters. And I think they're both guys. One is a blood witch, which means he can control your blood, smell your blood, everything with blood. Very cool. I really liked his character. His name is Auden. And the other was Merrick, who is an air witch, but he's not a very strong one. So he relies on other witches and wizards. I thought that was really, or just witches I mean, I thought that was really cool because you have a different aspect. Usually like you only get aspects from heroes who are the biggest and strongest, and then you get this one guy who's an amazingly smart person and he's stuck with a power that doesn't match it, and so he's stuck in like this lower caste in life essentially than what he should be, just because he doesn't have the same amount of power as somebody else. But I'm hoping, because his power is like building throughout the book, that like by the end of the book series like he'll be like really powerful and he will lead a nation. So it's really exciting, the political intrigue, definitely. I just want to make a note on Safia and Izzo that their relationship was so endearing to read. I usually things are like romance driven, and this book definitely has romance if you're looking for that, but it's the bond between friends and essentially siblings were so close to each other, and that was so beautiful. It was really confusing at the beginning, but after you learn about them about halfway through the book, I just love their characters so much. I think it's so well written. A line that was absolutely hilarious from the book. So the line is, "Just in case the world goes to goat tits as it was wont to do lately." Some of the writing in this book is absolutely hilarious, but other parts of the writing, there are like grammar issues and punctuation issues, and I found that very distracting as someone who really likes structure in my writing. I'm like, I need punctuation, I need proper grammar, and I don't think it's meant to be like that. It's just like, I don't think the editor was like on the ball for this book. Sorry guys, there were some punctual issues, but it was really well written anyways. Well, I am going to get into a little bit of spoilery stuff, so if you wouldn't like to see that, you can skedaddle away. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Snape kills Dumbledore. At least I'm consistent with my spoilers, guys. At least I'm consistent. The thing I had to say that was like a complaint was all these powers are really cool. There's no explanation as to how or why they're there. Like there's an explanation about like the origin wells, but how do the wells give you power? Why do they give you power? What's the purpose of them? Why is there a different one in each nation? Oh, what? I don't really know. So after that I wrote down, I guess I just want inheritance, and everything's explained in inheritance. Everything is very clearly, there's a reason why things are happening. You get backstory, and I guess I hated it at the time, but I need that now. I'm like used to the inheritance writing style. I'm just like, just give me the inheritance cycles writing style with backstory and explanation and history. I just want a fully developed world. That's all I want. That's all I want. That's all I want. I really like the aspect that like Auden is kind of fighting himself. He's hunting the Carwed, the people he vowed to protect, and he's kind of like in denial with the Carwed even after Avrain confronts him in the end of the book. And I really thought that was neat, and I was just like, I knew from the beginning, like when they brought up the Carwed, I was like, somehow that's important to the story, because that's a word that is important. That's an important word here in the book, and it's like, they're the Carwed, they're the Carwed, they're the Carwed, they're the Carwed, and then it's like confirmed at the end. It's just like, yes, like it wasn't suspense, but it was just like you knew, and it was really exciting to find out that they knew too. So I really like that aspect of the Carwed, and I really like seeing him hunting them down. That was neat. That was really interesting. I really like that. Also, with Auden, I wrote down he equals a sniveling dog, and he kind of does. He's kind of trash, but I also kind of ship him with Israel. And I'm like anxiously waiting for them to hook up, because I'm sure that they are. I'm like 96% certain it's gonna happen, because he's that conflicted character between good and evil, conflicted with like his family and his dad being the puppet king or whatever he is, the raider king I think is his name, and this girl that he met that he is like randomly obsessed with, and he can't smell her blood, and it's like very dramatic, and I'm just like, yes, 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 I ship it, I ship it. I take a moment to talk about Merrick and Safia. Like, yes. I saw them like in the ball scene, remember, where they're dancing, which was a really good written scene too. They reach the point where they're like flirting and everything, and then later it's like she escapes to Nebriva with him, and it's just like yes, I did like a happy dance when they kissed. It was like, thank God, thank God. I want them to be happy because Safia deserves to be loved and Merrick deserves to be loved and everyone just deserves to be loved. The description of threads in the book was so different to anything I've ever described, like everything I've ever read or I've personally described, I guess. Each thread was a different color and it was like pink awe, and I was like, I've never thought of feelings and emotions with color. I've only really thought of like music with color, but this makes so much sense and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was very, very good and it really added an interesting dynamic to the overall plot of the book, I guess, and the overall everything was happening because each scene was like a different thing. I'm shaking the camera with my knee, but it was just, I really enjoyed that. I thought it was very interesting and really good. But the last thing I wanted to point out in this book is how you start with Safia saying one thing at the beginning and then it's kind of like it comes full circle. It ends with Safia and she's saying essentially the same thing, but she has like a different view on the world now when she's saying it. And the book just has so many allusions to like balance and like yin and yang and like completeness and how there's two sides to every coin and all these great cliches and everything. And it's just, it's so strong in the book and I thought it worked really well. I really, really liked it. I thought it was great. So I'm quite happy with this read. I thought it was a pretty good read. I mean, not absolutely stunning, but you know, it was good. It wasn't like an upsetting read. The beginning was kind of weird, but you know, whatever. So I want you to know if you've read it, and if you have, what are your thoughts on it? You can comment in the tell section below. Please limit the spoilers though, guys, just because it is a 2016 release. Let's leave some people with like hope. See any of my stuff, it is in the doobly-doo, like my social media or anything. Also links to this book in Canada, United States in the doobly-doo. If you live in another country, I am sure you can find in your country or a place that'll ship to your country. Thank you all for hanging out with me on this kind of gloomy day.